Om Shri Sai Ram. Dear children, welcome you all for Shri Satya Sai Lokaseva Gurukulam online classes. Today we are in the second session of conservation of plants and animals. So in the previous session we had studied about deforestation, the man-made and natural causes of deforestation, consequences of deforestation. So upon concentrating on these factors, we studied that we came to know that there is threat for animals and plants on the earth. So based on that, the government had taken certain steps to protect them. So that is where we do the conservation of plants and animals. So this is what we had studied. Then I had given you some homework for the previous session. So let's see answers for them. The first was, what is global warming? So in the consequence of deforestation, we had studied that there is increased amount of carbon dioxide put into the atmosphere. So due to that, the increase in temperature of the earth has happened. So that is global warming. So increase in the temperature of the earth is called as global warming. Second question was, name any two natural causes of deforestation. Means naturally which are reason for the deforestation. So one is forest fire, the second is drought. Coming to the third, what is soil erosion? Here, washing away of top layer of the soil is called soil erosion. You can also add here the reason for soil erosion, mainly the agents of soil erosion, washing away of top layer of the soil due to action of wind and water. That also you can add here. So these were the questions I had given. So answers are given here. Okay, let's move on. So I had just given you introduction about what are protected areas. Here protected areas, they are the areas where plants and animals are given protection. Means they are saved from any kind of danger. So we have certain categories here, that is wildlife sanctuaries, the wildlife sanctuaries, national parks and biosphere reserves. So these are the three main categories of protected areas. So what was common in them? So everywhere the protection is provided for plants and animals. Then certain activities are prohibited there, means they are not allowed. That is plantation, I had explained you the meaning of these terms, cultivation, grazing, felling of trees, hunting and poaching. So these are the activities, these are prohibited in these areas. Okay. Next, biosphere and biological diversity. So there is one category of protected area, biosphere reserves. Before understanding that, let's see what is biosphere. Here, so this biosphere means any part on the earth which has living organisms or which supports the life. For example, there might be a pond. You can see many living organisms there. For example, fish, frog, okay, even that part is considered as a biosphere. Or take forest, there are many animals and birds or any other organisms. So that is also a biosphere. So any part on the earth which supports life, okay, so that is called as biosphere. So there is another term, biological diversity. Diversity means it is variety. Okay, it refers to variety. So biological diversity means variety of organisms existing. Variety of organisms existing on the earth, and not only the variety, what is there in between them, there is a interrelationship within the living organisms or between living organisms, and also there is relationship with the environment. They are dependent on the environment for their survival. So all this together we call it as biological diversity. So here in the picture you can see there are many varieties of plants and also many varieties of animals. So this is biological diversity. Coming to biosphere reserves. So biosphere we know it is large areas of protected land for conservation of wildlife, plant and animal resources and traditional life of tribals. Traditional life of tribals living here. Okay, here in Biosphere Reserve, what we see, not only plants and animals, but also tribals are protected here. So you may imagine or you may think that what are tribals or who are tribals? So tribals, they are group of people who live in the forest. How they came in the forest? If you look back to our history or prehistoric life, even we, our ancestors were born and brought up in the forest. Our origin was forest. There were some group of people who did not come out of the forest. They opted to live in the forest. When the civilization started, the way of living started, there was change in the way of living. But these group of people, they did not like it. They opted to stay back in the forest with their original traditions. So we call them as tribals, or we call them as Adivasis or Vanavasi or also Girivasis. So they stay in the forest. So even these people, the tribal people are also protected in the biosphere reserves. So in this picture you can see this is the depiction of biosphere reserve. It is categorized into three regions. So one is core area, second is buffer zone, then it is transition zone. You can see some of the alphabets here. M, it refers to monitoring. Then T and R. T means it is tourism and recreation. R refers to research stations, education and training. And this image refers to human settlements. Okay. So it is divided like this for the easy maintenance of the biosphere reserve. What happens in core area? It is highly protected. This core area is highly protected. Here plants and animals are allowed to live in their natural habitat and their natural habitat is protected. Here only monitoring happens. Monitoring means check on every action. No humans are allowed there. Then coming to buffer zone, here what is allowed? There is also monitoring. Here also there will be monitoring. And what else is here? Tourism. Means the people are allowed to enter here only for the purpose of visits. Like if you want to have look on the animals, the study tours will be there. From your schools you might have visited any forest. So you are allowed only in the buffer zone. You are not allowed to enter into core area. You might have heard of wildlife safaris. So there will be forest officials, a team of forest officers. They will be recruited for the tourism purpose. What do? They take you in vehicles for watching the animals. That is safari. And other recreation activities like photography. If there are animal lovers or the nature lovers who wants to take the photographies, they are allowed in this area with the official's permission. Then there is also activities like bird watching. So there are varieties of birds in the forest. So you can watch them. So such activities are allowed in the buffer zone. So along with that, so research or any study purpose activities are there, they are allowed in buffer zone. Coming to transition zone, see here you can see the human settlements are allowed, tourism is allowed, monitoring also happens here, research stations, education and training allowed. We said the tribals live in the biosphere reserves, they are protected. So they can have their houses or any settlements only in transitional zone or nearby the transitional zone out of the forests. So this is how reserve or biosphere reserves are protected. Then here these biosphere reserves help us to maintain the biodiversity and culture of that area. So previous slide we studied along with plants and animals, tribals are saved. So along with if the tribals are saved, their traditions and cultures are also saved. So here the biological diversity is maintained. Then in the biosphere reserves, you may also have other category of protected areas. Like for example, in Pachmari Biosphere Reserve, this Pachmari Biosphere Reserve is present in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, is present in Madhya Pradesh. So it has one national park, that is Satpura National Park, and two wildlife sanctuaries named Bori and Pachmari. Another example you can take, that is the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, which is present in Karnataka. It consists of Madumalai, Wayanad, Mukarthi and Bandipura national parks within it. Usually the extent of Biosphere Reserve is very vast. They are very large in size. So they consist of national parks also and also wildlife sanctuaries. See here, this is the map depicting the Pachmari Biosphere Reserve. Here you have Bori Sanctuary. See, this is the Bori Sanctuary and here is the Pachmari Sanctuary, and you have Satpura National Park in the Pachmari Biosphere Reserve. Okay, all throughout the sessions we used the word flora and fauna. So I did not explain in detail there. Here, flora means plants, okay? Fauna means animals. See, these plant varieties we call them scientifically flora, and the animal varieties we call them together as fauna. And when it comes to particular area, means say for example in Karnataka there is a forest Bandipur. Okay, if there are certain animals or plants, so plants present in that Bandipur National Park or forest, they will be called as flora of that area. Okay, the plants and animals found in a particular area are termed as flora and fauna respectively of that area. Here you can see the flora of Pachmari Reserve, means the plants which are present in Pachmari Reserve. So this is the sal tree, okay, this is the teak tree, then here you can see the jamun tree. So this is flora of Pachmari Reserve. Then fauna of Pachmari Reserve, that is the animal resources. Here you can see this is the wild dog. This is wild dog. So domesticated dog is different. This is which present in the forest. They are called as wild dog. They are also called as dhole, D-H-O-L-E, dhole. Then this you know, obviously tiger. So this is a very pretty deer. Then, so endemic species. The next concept is endemic species. Before going to understanding what is endemic species, let's see what is the meaning of species. So we studied that there are variety of animals and plants on the earth. So in this variety, let's take monkey. Is this one type of animal, right? In monkeys, have you seen only one type of monkey? No. Obviously, the two main common types we get to see. One is with small and with the red face, that is red monkey. Another with the black face. So there are two kinds, right? Both are monkeys, but there are two kinds. So that difference is called as they are species. Okay, that different types are called as species. Here, coming to endemic species. Endemic species are those species of plants and animals which are found exclusively in a particular area, which means they are found only in that area, not anywhere else. See, they are not naturally found anywhere else. Take an example of kangaroo. We cannot see any kangaroo naturally in India. They are not present. They are originally from Australia. Okay, where are they from? Australia. So they are endemic to Australia, you can say, because they are naturally found in Australia. So naturally they are not found anywhere else. So such species are called as endemic species. Here, a particular type of animal or plant may be endemic to a zone or to a state or a country. What it means? If you say a plant or animal is endemic to a zone, it means it is only found in that zone. If you say it is endemic to a state, say for example, endemic animal of Karnataka, if you say it is found only in Karnataka. And if you say a country, it is found only in that country. Okay. Then, so we said that they are found only in some places, means they are not found anywhere else. So there is threat for these animals too. How? If they are not protected, their number may decrease. Then they might face the extinction. Means they may vanish permanently from the forest. from the wild. So what may be the causes for that? That is destruction of their habitat. If their natural homes are destroyed, or increasing population and introduction of new species. See, if the number of other animals increased and if there are new species entering to their homes, there will be competition for food and other requirements of that animal. So obviously if that animal is weak, they will start decreasing in number and ultimately they may become endangered. Means in the near future they may vanish from the wild. Okay. So this is about endemic species. Considering some of the endemic flora and fauna of Pachmari Reserve. Here flora, the endemic flora are sal and wild mango. So sal, we have seen the picture in the previous slides. Coming to fauna, this is bison, means wild buffalo. So in Madhya Pradesh, wild buffaloes are found only in Pachmari Reserve. And this is a giant squirrel, Indian giant squirrel. We all know this common squirrel, which is very small with a combination of grey patches and cream patches. Here you can see very much difference between the normal one we see and how it is. Okay, this is called Indian giant squirrel, which is found only in Pachmari reserves in the Madhya Pradesh. Okay, so the next protected area, wildlife sanctuary. So we have studied about biosphere reserves. Now let's move on to wildlife sanctuary. So areas where animals are protected from any disturbance to them and their habitat. So it is common in all the protected areas. So animals and their habitats are protected. Then wildlife sanctuaries provide protection and suitable living conditions to wild animals. So apart from protecting them, the suitable conditions are provided. Means whatever is required for their easy survival, that is also provided in the wildlife sanctuaries. For example, say in a patch of forest, the water reservoirs are far from each other. So it is difficult for animals to go in search of the water. So what the forest department does in wildlife sanctuaries, they help the animals by artificially creating some ponds. So and they fill them regularly with water so that animals can get or have the water easily. So this is how they are supported in the wildlife sanctuaries. Then what is killing or capturing animals is strictly prohibited. Along with that, if any such cases are found, they are punishable by law. Say if anybody illegally enters into the forest or wildlife sanctuary and if they kill any animal or if they capture any animal and if it comes to the notice of the forest officials or anybody for that matter, so they are punishable by law. So how in our cities or any robbery happens, if they are found, they will be punished. Same way, the forest department takes care that such instances doesn't happen in the forest and they protect the plants and animal reserves. Here again, certain activities such as grazing, collecting the medicinal plants and firewood etc. is allowed. For whom? It is only for the people who are living in the midst of the forest, people living in sanctuaries. So I said you that there are tribal people, okay. So those tribals are allowed for these activities. So for grazing, if they have the cattle, they can graze, and collecting of medicinal plants and firewood etc. These are allowed only for people who are living in the sanctuary. So here prime importance is given for the animals. So certain activities related to plants, they are allowed by the people living in the sanctuaries. Okay. Next, so we studied endemic species, right? Which means they are present only in one place, in a particular place. There is another kind, that is threatened wild animals. Threatened means they are found in all the places. They may be present in all other places, some of the other places too, but they are less in number. So they are threatened. Sometime in the near future they may become endangered. Okay. So there are some of the animals like black buck, golden cat. So this is the black buck, golden cat. This is the golden cat. Here we have pink-headed duck. And other examples like this is gharial. Gharial. This is marsh crocodile. Can you observe these pictures and find out any difference? See here, observe this mouth part of both the pictures. So what you can observe is the mouth is long and elongated in gharial, and in marsh crocodile you have broader and little length is smaller here in the crocodile. So this is gharial and this is marsh crocodile. So that one is python and this is rhinoceros. They are all threatened animals. Even in the wild their numbers are decreasing, which means they also need a prime importance of protection. Okay. Next. So we studied that protected areas, it is given the main protection, and the illegal activities are punishable by law, even though the greedy humans still encroach into the forest areas and they get their benefits. So it is the picture where you can see the mining happening in the forest area. Okay. So it is pity that even protected forests are not safe because people living in the neighborhood encroach. Encroach means that you are illegally entering into the forest area and we get our benefits. This is encroachment. Then coming to the third category, national parks. Here also areas reserved for wildlife. So where they can freely use the habitats and natural resources. They are allowed to move freely in their area and survive there. Then human activities such as grazing, poaching, hunting, capturing of animals or collection of firewood, etc. are not allowed here. So no human interference is allowed here. Then, so these areas are large enough. So how we, the extent, if we see the extent of national parks, they are very large in size too. Then they preserve flora, fauna, and there is another special thing here. Along with flora and fauna, landscape and historic objects of an area are also preserved. Means landscape means, for example, if forest has got some hill station or it has got some beautiful lake or a pond, even they are given importance. They are also protected here. It is seen to it that no harm caused for those structures too. Okay. So we'll study the example in the next slide. So here Satpura National Park, it is the first reserve forest of India. And here we can find the finest Indian teak. So teak tree we have seen, the good quality of teak is found in Satpura Reserve. And in India presently we have more than 100 national parks. If we can list some of them here, the first one is Jim Corbett National Park, which is present in the state Uttarakhand. The which animal given more importance here is tiger. Okay. Then second one is Kaziranga National Park, which is present in Assam. The rhinoceros are protected here. Then Hazaribagh National Park, which is present in Jharkhand state, and tigers are protected here. And the list goes on. Okay. So I said in national parks, what we said, along with flora and fauna, landscape and historic objects are saved or protected. See, this is the one of the stone cave present in the Satpura National Park. So rock shelters means they are caves, okay, rock caves which are present inside the Satpur National Park. They are also protected here. So because of which these are evidences of prehistoric human life. So before we did not have any script or language to depict our lifestyle and all. So what the people used to do, they scribble on the rocks or they used to draw on the rocks that whatever they, how was their lifestyle and all, whatever they had, the dance forms might be or hunting and killing of animals, those were depicted in the form of paintings on the stones. So looking at them, we can get an idea how the people lived, how they were living together or whatever they had with them. So these will provide us the evidences of prehistoric life. So there are total 55 rock shelters identified in the Satpura National Park. Also many tribals still live here. So they are all provided protection in the national parks. Another concept is tiger reserves. Okay, in India, the government of India launched the Project Tiger in the year 1973. So we studied the number of tigers are also less in the wild. So to protect them, we have to give importance. So for that matter, Project Tiger was launched by the government of India in the year 1973. Okay. What is the main objective? It is to ensure survival and maintenance of the tiger population in the country. Then tiger is one of the many species which are slowly disappearing from our forests. The number is decreasing day by day. And once upon a time, not only tiger, there were other animals like lion, elephants, wild buffaloes were also present in large number, but not now. They are also decreasing. So this is what we studied about the protected areas. Mainly we studied three categories in that: biosphere reserves. In that we studied there are three zones in that, is core area, buffer area, transition area, and we studied how they are protected differently in those areas. Then we studied about wildlife sanctuaries and national parks, what are the main importance given there. Okay, so I assume that you all have understood this. Let's look on some of the questions for today's class. First one, a place where animals are protected in their natural habitat is called dash. Then second one, tribal can have settlement at the core zone of biosphere reserve. So remember, there are three zones: core, buffer and transition. So what is allowed in what zone, you should remember. Based on that, you should answer this question. Third one is differentiate between wildlife sanctuary and biosphere reserve. The second is zoo and wildlife sanctuary. Third one is what are endemic species and give 2 examples. Okay. So let us see the remaining part in the next session. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.